It was a quiet morning in a small town on Earth. The sun had just risen, painting the sky orange and gold. Ethan Gray, a 25-year-old man, sat alone in his apartment, staring at the small cake on his table. It was his birthday, but there were no friends, no family, no party. He had stopped celebrating years ago. Life felt empty, and the world outside didn't seem to care. He was about to blow out the single candle when the doorbell rang. Ethan frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone. When he opened the door, no one was there. Only a large metallic box sat quietly on his doorstep. It was about the size of a suitcase, smooth and shining like silver water. There was no label, no return address, no sound, except for a faint hum like a sleeping machine. Ethan looked around, but the street was empty. The morning air felt strange, heavy like something was watching him. He brought the box inside and placed it on his table. There was a message carved into the lid. To Ethan Gray, a special gift for your 25th birthday. He read it again, confused. Who would send him something like this? He didn't even have close friends anymore. When he touched the surface, the metal warmed under his hand. The box clicked, and thin lines of light began to glow across it, forming strange symbols he didn't recognize. The hum grew louder and then, click, hiss. The box slowly opened on its own. Ethan stepped back, heart pounding. Inside was not gold or jewels or anything human. Inside was a woman. She lay there like she was sleeping, her skin pale with a soft silver glow. Her hair floated slightly as if underwater. Her clothes were not like anything from Earth, a thin, smooth fabric that shimmered with colors that didn't exist in the human world. For a long moment, Ethan couldn't move. He thought maybe it was a robot or a strange prank. But then her chest rose. She breathed. Her eyes opened, bright, shining blue with silver rings inside. When she looked at him, the room grew quiet. She sat up slowly and whispered in a soft, echoing voice, "Are you Ethan Gray?" Ethan's mouth went dry. "Yes," he said carefully. "Who are you? What is this?" She looked around the room as if confused by the walls, the light, the air. "My name is Lyra," she said. "I was sent to you as a gift." He blinked. "A gift from who?" "I don't know," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I just remember waking up inside the capsule." There was a voice. It said, "Find Ethan Gray, protect him, learn from him." Then everything went dark. Ethan stared at her, not sure whether to believe her or call the police. But something about her didn't seem dangerous. She looked calm, curious, and almost human, but not quite. Her eyes seemed to glow when she spoke. He asked, "Are you human?" Lyra tilted her head. "No, not exactly. But I was made to understand you." Before he could ask more, a flash of light came from the box. The symbols on its lid rearranged themselves into new patterns, like it was writing a message. Then the lights went out completely. Lyra's expression changed. "It's sealed," she whispered. "They can't track me now." "Who?" Ethan asked. She didn't answer. Her gaze drifted to the window. Outside, a black car had stopped across the street. Two men in suits stood near it, looking directly at Ethan's building. Ethan felt a chill run down his back. "Do you know them?" "No," Lyra said softly. "But they know me?" The hum from the box started again, low and pulsing like a heartbeat. Lyra turned to him, her voice urgent. "You must not tell anyone about me. If they find me, they will take me away, and you will never see me again." Ethan swallowed hard. "Why would anyone want to take you?" Lyra looked at him with sad eyes that seemed far too deep for someone who had just arrived. "Because I am not meant to be here. Someone broke the rules of the stars to send me to you." The room filled with silence. Ethan didn't understand what that meant, but something in her tone made him believe her. Outside, thunder rumbled, though the sky was clear. The power flickered. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and Ethan could swear he heard a whisper, not from her but from inside his mind. "Protect the host, the others are coming." He looked around, shaken. "What was that?" Lyra stood up, graceful and strange. "It has begun," she said quietly. Ethan didn't know what was happening, but he felt one thing for sure. His life, once dull and lonely, had just changed forever, and somewhere deep in the glowing metal box something clicked again. Like a clock counting down, Ethan didn't sleep that night. The strange woman, Lyra, sat quietly in his living room, staring at the flickering lights of the city through the window. Her glowing eyes reflected every passing car like tiny blue suns. The air around her felt alive as if it carried invisible energy. Ethan had too many questions, but his voice kept failing him. Every time he looked at her, his heart raced. Not only because she was beautiful, but because he could feel something unnatural. She wasn't just a visitor. She belonged to the stars. Finally, he whispered, "You said you're not human. Then what are you?" Lyra turned her head slowly, her silver hair shining under the lamp. "I was made," she said softly. "Not born like you. My people created me to travel where they cannot go, to understand new worlds, to find those who carry the light." "The light?" Ethan asked, confused. She nodded. "Every world has one, a spark. Something that keeps it alive. Your world's spark is hidden inside humans. You call it the soul. We call it the seed of creation." Ethan frowned. "You're saying humans have something from your world?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Long ago, our kind visited Earth. They planted the seed inside your species so you could grow, learn, and one day join the stars. But something went wrong. The link between our worlds was lost." Ethan tried to understand, but it sounded like science fiction. "Then why were you sent to me?" Her smile faded. "That is what I don't remember. Someone broke the rule of time and sent me early. I was not supposed to awaken yet." She closed her eyes and her skin shimmered with light. "I can feel my connection fading. Something is wrong with the star network." Before Ethan could ask what that meant, the lights in the apartment flickered again. The hum from the metal box on the table grew louder, sharper until it filled the whole room. Lyra's eyes widened. She whispered, "They found us." Ethan rushed to the window. Across the street, the black car was gone. In its place stood a tall man in a dark coat, holding a strange device that blinked with blue light. He wasn't looking at the building. He was looking at Lyra. Ethan pulled the curtain shut. "Who are they?" Lyra's voice trembled. "Hunters. They work for the Earth government, but not all of them are human. Some serve other masters." "Other masters?" "Those who want to stop the seed from awakening." A sharp metallic sound echoed from outside, like a drill tearing through air. Ethan turned just in time to see the front door rattle. Someone was trying to force it open. "Come on," he said, grabbing Lyra's hand. Her skin was warm but pulsed with strange energy, like electricity under silk. They ran to the back room. Ethan led her down the stairs into his small basement, a space filled with old tools, wires, and dusty machines from his engineering work. He shut the door and turned off the lights. Above them, footsteps echoed, heavy and slow. Lyra touched the wall, and a soft blue glow spread from her palm, lighting the basement with gentle light. "Don't be afraid," she said calmly. "They won't find us yet." Ethan took a deep breath. "How do you know?" "Because I locked my energy field. I'm invisible to their scanners for now." Ethan looked at her with awe. "You can do that?" She smiled faintly. "I can do more, but my strength is low. I need to recover." For a moment there was silence. Then Ethan whispered, "You said someone sent you early. Who could do that?" Lyra stared at the glowing metal box upstairs. "Only the makers. But they would never break the code of time. Unless they feared something worse." Ethan frowned. "Worse than those men?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Something older. Something that watches worlds die." A chill ran down his spine. "And it's coming here?" Lyra didn't answer. Instead, she placed her hand over his heart. Her touch was soft, but he felt a sudden wave of warmth, like his soul had been touched by starlight. "Ethan," she said gently, "you are not random. You were chosen long before you were born. That's why they found you. That's why I was sent to you." Ethan stared at her, speechless. He wanted to say it was impossible, but deep inside something told him she was right. Upstairs, the sound of footsteps stopped. Then silence. The hunters were gone. Lyra looked up. "They will return. Next time they won't come alone." Ethan asked softly. "What can I do?" She met his eyes. "Believe, and be ready to protect me, even when the world calls me a lie." Outside, thunder rolled again, though the sky remained clear. For a moment, a faint beam of light shot across the horizon. Not lightning, but a signal. Lyra watched it and whispered to herself, "The others have awakened." Ethan didn't know what that meant, but he could feel it. The universe was no longer silent. Something vast and powerful was watching. and for the first time in his life he understood that his small, quiet world was about to change forever. The next morning, the sky above the city looked different, pale gray, too quiet, too still. Birds that usually filled the rooftops were gone. Ethan sat by the window trying to make sense of what had happened the night before. The strange men, the glowing box, the woman who claimed to be made of light, it all felt like a dream. But when he turned around, Lyra was standing there in the living room, real and calm, watching a mug of coffee steam in her hands as if she was studying it. "Why do humans drink this?" she asked softly. "It helps us stay awake," Ethan said, trying to smile. "It's normal." Lyra tilted her head. "Normal," she repeated, tasting the word. "On my world, we stay awake by light. You stay awake by warmth." Ethan looked at her carefully. "Lyra, last night, and who were those people? They didn't look like police." She lowered her gaze. "They're not. They are part of a secret branch of your government. They study everything that falls from the sky. They don't understand that some things should never be touched." Ethan frowned. "And they want you?" "They want what's inside me," she said quietly. "Energy that your world cannot control. If they take it, it will break me, and maybe your planet too." Before Ethan could respond, a sudden knock shook the door. 3 sharp hits. Not friendly. Ethan's chest tightened. He motioned for Lyra to stay quiet. Slowly, he opened the door just enough to peek outside. 2 men in black suits stood there. One of them held a small tablet that blinked with blue lights. The taller one spoke. "Ethan Gray?" "Yes," Ethan said, trying to sound normal. "We're with the National Aerospace Division. We're checking reports of strange signals near this area. May we come in?" Ethan hesitated. His heartbeat thumped in his ears. "Signals?" The agent nodded. "There was an unidentified object detected yesterday. It landed somewhere close to your location. Have you seen anything unusual?" Ethan forced a weak laugh. "Unusual? No, just birthday cake and bad coffee." The agents didn't laugh. They exchanged a look. The taller one's eyes seemed to scan the air behind Ethan, as if he could feel something invisible. "We may need to check your home's power readings," he said. "Our instruments show an energy spike around midnight." Ethan swallowed. "That's strange. Maybe a short circuit?" "Maybe," the agent said. "We'll be nearby if anything happens again." They left without another word, but Ethan didn't move until their car was gone. When he turned back, Lyra was standing in the hallway, her eyes glowing faintly blue. "They're tracking the signal from the box," she said. "It's too strong. We need to hide it." Ethan quickly grabbed a tool bag. "Where can we hide something that glows like a star?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Underground." They went down to the basement again. Ethan opened an old storage panel in the wall and placed the metal box inside. Lyra waved her hand over it and the box's glow faded to nothing. "For now it's invisible," she said. "But that won't last." Ethan wiped his forehead. "How long do we have?" Lyra looked distant, as if listening to something far away. "Not long. The universe has noticed I'm missing." He frowned. "You mean your people?" Lyra nodded slowly. "The Makers will come for me. But there's another force, too, one that doesn't want me to reach them." "Another alien?" Ethan asked. Lyra hesitated. "Not alien. Forgotten. A machine left behind when the stars were young. It calls itself the Collector." Ethan felt cold. "And it's coming here?" "Yes," she said. "It knows about you, me?" "Why?" Lyra's voice softened. "Because you are the host. The seed is inside you." Ethan stepped back. "You said that before. The seed of creation. What does that even mean?" "It means your soul carries energy that can wake dead worlds," she explained. "That's why I was sent to protect you. You're not just a human. You are a key." Ethan shook his head in disbelief. "That's impossible." Lyra reached out and touched his forehead with 2 fingers. Suddenly his vision blurred. He saw flashes, endless galaxies, ancient machines, and a giant hand of light planting glowing seeds into the dark. Then it was gone. He gasped, stepping back. "What was that?" "Your memory," Lyra whispered. "The memory of your blood." Ethan looked at her in shock. "Why show me this?" "Because soon you must choose," she said. "When they find you, when the Collector comes, you must decide if you will hide or awaken." The air grew colder. Somewhere outside, a siren wailed. Ethan turned toward the window and froze. The same black car was parked across the street again. But this time there were 3 of them. Lyra's voice was calm but serious. "They know." Ethan stared at the blinking lights in the distance. What do we do now? Lyra looked up at him, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. We run, because if they capture us, the stars will go dark. And as the engines roared outside, Ethan realized the truth. The government wasn't just searching for a signal. They were hunting her. And maybe they were hunting him too. Night fell fast over the city, darker than usual, heavier somehow. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds, and the streets below Ethan's apartment looked empty, as if the world had gone silent. Ethan stood by the window, watching the 3 black cars still parked outside. They hadn't moved for hours. Inside one, he could see a faint blue glow, the same color as Lyra's eyes. Lyra sat quietly on the couch, her fingers moving slowly over the metal pendant around her neck. It pulsed with weak light. She looked tired, her usual bright glow dimmed. They're not leaving, Ethan said softly. They're waiting for something. Lyra nodded. Yes, they're waiting for him. Who? She lifted her eyes. The Collector. Ethan frowned. You said that name before. What is it? Lyra looked toward the window as if she could see through the clouds. A hunter from the old time. It was built to gather the seeds of creation from dying worlds, but when it lost contact with my kind, it began to take them by force. It feeds on what it collects. Now it wants you. Ethan felt his chest tighten. Why me? I didn't ask for this. No one ever does, Lyra said gently. But you were born with the light inside. The seed is your destiny. Before Ethan could reply, the lights in the room flickered and went out. Total darkness. The hum from the metal box hidden in the basement began again, louder, sharper. Then the ground trembled. Ethan looked outside. A thin line of fire shot across the sky, splitting the clouds open. The air turned red. A deep sound, like thunder mixed with a scream, rolled through the night. Lyra stood up slowly. Her eyes glowed brighter. He's here. From the clouds, a shadow descended, tall, wide, and glowing with metal veins of blue and black. It wasn't a ship, not exactly, but a being. Its body shifted between solid metal and liquid energy. Its face had no eyes, only a burning circle in the center. It landed in the middle of the street, crushing the pavement beneath it. The men in suits ran from their cars, shouting into radios. But before they could react, the creature raised one hand. A flash of blue light, and the cars melted into ash. Ethan's heart pounded. Oh my God! Lyra stepped forward, calm but tense. Stay behind me. The Collector's voice echoed across the street. Deep, mechanical, but filled with something like emotion. The host of the seed, you cannot hide. Ethan felt the words not in his ears but in his bones. Lyra's pendant glowed as she raised her hands. Blue light surrounded her, forming a thin shield. The creature turned its gaze toward the apartment. Surrender the human, it said. He carries what is mine, Lyra shouted, her voice ringing like metal. He carries what belongs to no one. The seed belongs to creation itself. The Collector took one step forward, and the windows of every building nearby shattered. Ethan grabbed Lyra's arm. We have to go. She shook her head. No, if I run, it will follow. I must stop it here. She closed her eyes. Her body began to glow, brighter and brighter until her hair turned into flowing strands of light. The air vibrated. Ethan could hardly look at her. Lyra, you'll burn yourself. She smiled faintly. Then let me burn for something. A beam of energy burst from her hand, striking the Collector straight in the chest. The explosion lit the whole street. For a moment, the creature staggered. But then its body reformed. It was stronger. It spoke again, voice cold as space. Energy of the Makers detected. You are defective. It raised its arm and sent a wave of black fire toward the building. The walls shook. Ethan fell to the ground. The smell of smoke filled the air. Lyra stumbled, her light dimming. I can't hold it much longer. Ethan ran to her and grabbed her hand. Then we'll do it together. The Collector stopped. Its single glowing circle focused on Ethan. He awakens, it whispered. Ethan's chest began to glow faintly, a small light, pulsing in rhythm with Lyra's. Their energies connected. The Collector stepped back slightly, its voice sharper now. Impossible. The host is incomplete. Ethan didn't know what was happening, but he could feel something inside him opening. Warmth spreading through his body. Power and fear mixed together. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. You're merging with me, she said softly. The seed is reacting, the Collector roared. The sky turned red again, lightning splitting the clouds. Ethan shouted, "What do I do?" Lyra pressed her forehead against his. "Trust me." Their light flared together, two colors blending, human and alien, bright enough to blind the night. The collector stumbled back, hissing in anger as cracks spread across its metal body. It pointed one last time toward them. "You cannot escape the calling of the stars, host. I will return when you understand what you are." And then, in a burst of blue flame, the collector vanished into the sky. The street went silent again. The cars were gone. The air smelled of burned metal. Ethan fell to his knees, gasping. Lyra knelt beside him, her glow fading. "It's gone," he said weakly. "For now," she whispered. "But it will come again, and next time it won't come alone." Ethan looked up at the sky where faint streaks of light still shimmered. "Then we'll be ready," Lyra nodded. "You will be. Because tonight, the stars have seen you." And above them, far beyond the clouds, something ancient stirred, watching, waiting, and whispering Ethan's name across the void. The city was quiet again, but the silence felt wrong, heavy, unnatural. The stars above looked brighter than usual, as if they were watching. The air still smelled of smoke and burnt metal from the battle. Ethan sat on the cold floor of his ruined apartment, his body trembling. The wall behind him was cracked, the window shattered, and the night breeze whispered through the broken glass. Beside him, Lyra was sitting with her eyes closed, her skin faintly glowing, trying to heal. Ethan looked at her, still in disbelief. "That thing, it knew my name. It said I was the host." Lyra opened her eyes slowly. "Yes," she said softly, "because the seed inside you has awakened." The collector sensed it. He shook his head. "You keep saying seed. What does it really mean? Why me? I'm just a normal person." Lyra looked at him with sadness and something like pride. "You're not just a person, Ethan. You are part of a plan made long before your world was born." She touched the pendant around her neck. It started to glow again, projecting a faint image into the air. Swirling lights and stars forming shapes like galaxies. In the center, a massive golden tree appeared, with its roots stretching across the universe. Lyra pointed at it. "This is the Tree of Origins. My people call it the Source. It creates life across galaxies. But long ago, darkness tried to destroy it. To protect the Source, the Makers divided its heart into pieces, seeds, and sent them into different worlds." Ethan stared at the image, mesmerized. "And one of those seeds is inside me?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, the seed of creation. The last living spark of the Source. It chose you before you were born. You were meant to awaken it when the time came, but someone changed time. That's why I was sent early," he frowned. "Change time? You mean someone did this on purpose?" "Yes," Lyra said. "Someone wanted the seed to awaken sooner, maybe to stop something or maybe to start something worse." Ethan rubbed his temples, trying to think. "Then the collector. It wants the seed to create more life?" "No," she said. "It wants to own it. It was built to collect life energy, but when the Makers disappeared, it lost its purpose. Now it believes everything with a seed belongs to it. It thinks taking your light will make it complete again." Ethan clenched his fists. "So it'll keep coming for me?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, unless we reach the place where the seed was meant to bloom, the star chamber. It's a hidden point in space where your energy can awaken safely." He looked at her, realizing how far from normal his life had become. "How do we even get there? I can't even leave my city without people following me." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then we build what we need." "You're an engineer, aren't you?" Ethan blinked. "Wait, you want me to build something that goes into space?" "Not into space," Lyra said. "Through space. A gateway," he laughed nervously. "That's impossible." But Lyra only looked at him with gentle eyes. "Nothing is impossible when creation itself is inside you." She held out her hand and a small sphere of blue light appeared above her palm. "This is a memory crystal," she explained. "It holds the plans of the Makers. Together we can use your technology and my knowledge to open the path." Ethan reached out and touched the light. Instantly, a flood of images filled his mind. Symbols, blueprints, and strange equations. He gasped, pulling his hand away. "It's like—" "I can see how it works," Lyra smiled. "That's the seed guiding you. It remembers." But before he could speak, a low beeping sound came from the corner of the room. Ethan turned and froze. One of the government tracking devices from the agents earlier had started flashing red. They found us again, he said. Lyra's face darkened. No, this time it's not them. What do you mean? She looked at the window. The stars outside were shifting, moving unnaturally, forming a strange spiral above the city. The air around them buzzed like electricity. Lyra whispered, "That's a gate signal. Something, or someone, is forcing entry into this world." Ethan stepped closer to the window. The collector? No, Lyra said. Something older. The light from her pendant brightened suddenly and she winced.
They're calling me.
The Makers. They've seen what's happening. The glowing projection in the air changed again, showing a distant planet made of crystal and light. A calm voice echoed softly, "Guardian Lyra of the Starborn. The host has awakened. Bring him home before the void takes him." Ethan stared at her. "Home, you mean your world?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, we must go there. The answers are waiting for us. And the truth about why you were chosen." Ethan looked out at the strange sky, his heart racing. "And if we don't?" Lyra's eyes filled with sorrow. "Then your world will fade like the others before it." Outside, the spiral of light widened. The stars seemed to twist into a doorway, Ethan whispered. "The hidden truth. It's not just about me, is it?" Lyra shook her head. "No, Ethan, it's about all of humanity. You are not alone. Your whole race was built for something greater." He took a deep breath, looking up at the glowing sky. "Then let's find out what they've been hiding." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then prepare, host of the seed. The real journey begins now." And as the stars bent into a perfect circle, the first doorway between worlds began to open. The sky was no longer a sky. It had become a giant whirlpool of light, spinning above the city like a living storm. The stars twisted into a perfect circle, a portal between worlds. Ethan stood at the edge of the rooftop with Lyra beside him, wind tearing through their clothes as the air crackled with strange energy. "This is the gateway," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "It leads to my world and to the truth." Ethan stared at the glowing vortex. It pulsed like a heartbeat calling to him. Deep inside, he felt something respond, a warmth spreading through his chest, through his blood. The seed inside him was waking again, but before they could move, a sudden roar shook the ground. Buildings below them trembled, alarms screamed, and a streak of black light burst through the sky. Lyra's eyes widened. "No, he's back." From the spinning clouds, the collector descended once more, larger, darker, stronger than before. His body glowed with red veins of energy. He no longer looked like a machine, but like a living storm of metal and fire. Ethan stepped back, shielding his face. "I thought we destroyed it." Lyra shook her head. "You can't destroy a thing born from the stars. You can only end its purpose." The collector's voice echoed through the air, deep and cold. "Host, you carry what belongs to me. This world is not yours to save." Lyra moved in front of Ethan, her hands glowing. "You will not touch him." The collector raised his arm, and a blast of black energy shot toward them. Lyra pushed Ethan aside, catching the full hit. The explosion threw her across the rooftop. She landed hard, her light flickering. "Lyra!" Ethan ran to her, panic flooding his chest. Her skin was dim now, her breathing weak. She looked up at him, forcing a small smile. "You can't fight him the way I do. You have to let the seed guide you." "I don't know how." He shouted. "You do," she whispered. "It's already inside you. Feel it. Not with your hands, but with your soul." The collector's shadow loomed over them. "She will die and you will follow," it said. Ethan clenched his fists. The air around him began to hum. His heart beat faster, and with each pulse light spilled from his skin. He stood tall, feeling a strange peace in the chaos. "No," he said quietly. "Not this time," the collector charged. The rooftop cracked under its weight. Ethan raised his hand without thinking, and a wall of golden energy appeared, blocking the attack. Lyra gasped softly. "You've done it. You've awakened." Ethan didn't understand how, but he could feel everything. The energy of the air, the heartbeat of the earth, the spark of every star above. It all moved through him like a river of light. He turned toward the collector. "You're not taking anything from me," the creature's voice hissed. "You are only human." "Maybe," Ethan said. "But that's what makes me more than you." He raised both hands. The light from his chest expanded, forming golden threads that wrapped around the collector's arms. The creature roared, struggling as its metal body cracked. But even as it broke, the collector's voice grew louder. You think you destroy me, host? You feed me. Every light brings darkness. Ethan gritted his teeth, trying to hold the energy together. Lyra, what do I do? She pushed herself up weakly. You have to release it. Let the seed go. Set it free before it consumes you. Ethan hesitated. If I do, what happens to me? Lyra looked at him sadly. You already know, he nodded. Deep down he did. The power wasn't meant to stay inside a single person. It was life itself, wild, infinite, and uncontainable. He looked at Lyra one last time. Thank you for finding me. She reached for his hand, tears in her glowing eyes. You were never lost. Ethan took a deep breath. Then he lifted his arms and screamed. A surge of golden light erupted from his body, shooting upward like a star being born. The explosion lit the entire city. The collector was caught in the wave, his form melting, twisting, and finally shattering into dust and light. The portal above them flared bright white, then calmed, spinning softly like a gentle eye in the sky. When the light faded, Ethan was gone. Only the echo of his voice remained in the air. The seed belongs to all life. Lyra fell to her knees, staring at the place where he stood. The wind grew quiet. Slowly, a faint golden glow appeared in the sky, a new star pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Lyra placed her hand over her chest. You did it, she whispered. You saved them all. But as the city lights returned, she could feel something deep in space stirring, another power, watching, waiting. The battle was over, but the war for the seeds had just begun. She looked at the glowing star above and smiled through her tears. Until we meet again, Ethan Gray, the man who carried the light. And with that, she stepped into the fading portal, vanishing into the realm of stars. The sky was calm again. The storm of stars had faded, leaving behind only one, a golden star that shone brighter than all others. It pulsed slowly like a beating heart. People around the world looked up that night, wondering what miracle had touched the heavens. But only one person truly knew what it meant. Lyra stood at the edge of a silver desert under another sun, her homeworld, Orion. The air shimmered with light. Giant crystal towers rose into the horizon, each one singing a faint musical hum. She was back among her people, yet her heart felt heavier than ever. A group of glowing beings approached her. They looked like her, tall, radiant, their eyes made of starlight. The eldest one spoke, his voice calm but deep. Guardian Lyra, you have returned. The host fulfilled his purpose. Lyra bowed her head. Yes, Elder. Ethan Gray released the seed. He gave his life so creation could continue. The Elder placed his shining hand on her shoulder. Then balance has been restored. Lyra hesitated. Restored, but not complete. The seed still lives, Elder. I can feel him. The Elder tilted his head. You feel the echo of his soul. When the host releases the seed, his spirit becomes part of the source. He is everywhere now, in every breath, in every star. Lyra looked up at the sky, where a faint golden light glowed even from Orion's far distance. He's still watching, she whispered. I can sense him in the light. The Elder smiled gently. Love leaves a mark stronger than any star. Lyra closed her eyes. The wind brushed her silver hair, carrying the faint sound of Ethan's laughter. Or maybe it was just memory. Still, it made her smile through the ache in her chest. Days passed. On Earth, the sky never returned to normal. The golden star continued to shine, and scientists called it the Gray Beacon. They didn't know its origin, but some said it appeared on the night a massive energy surge saved the planet from destruction. In a small town, near the ruins of what was once Ethan's apartment, strange flowers began to grow, glowing faintly under moonlight, their petals soft and golden. People couldn't explain them. They named them Ethan's bloom. But one evening, a soft light flickered among those flowers, a shimmer like a ripple in the air, and from that light a shadow appeared. A figure. It was Ethan. Not flesh and blood, not fully human anymore, but light shaped into a human form. His eyes glowed faint gold. He looked around in wonder, confused but calm. He could feel the heartbeat of the world, his world, echoing through him. He whispered, Lyra. The wind didn't answer, but the stars pulsed once, as if calling back. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, Lyra sat in the Hall of Mirrors, a sacred place where time and memory touched. She placed her hand on the glass and an image formed. Ethan's figure appeared faintly in the reflection, standing among his glowing flowers on Earth. Her heart leaped. "Ethan," she whispered. The elder's voice echoed behind her. "His essence remains tied to yours. When two souls join through the seed, they become reflections of one another, across time and worlds." Lyra turned to him. "Then there's a way to reach him?" The elder nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But to cross again, you must give something in return. The source does not allow love to exist without cost." Lyra looked down at her glowing hands. "Then I will give what's left of me." The elder sighed. "You know what that means, Guardian?" "Yes," she said. "It means I become part of the light, like him." The elder's eyes softened. "Then go, child of stars. Let your heart guide you." The hall filled with a soft blue glow. Lyra stepped into the mirror, her body fading into starlight. Across the distance of galaxies, her light found its way through the layers of space and appeared once again above Earth. Ethan looked up from his field of glowing flowers. The air shimmered. He felt a familiar warmth behind him. When he turned, she was there, Lyra, not as before, but as a being of pure light. "Beautiful, endless, Lyra," Ethan whispered. She smiled. "I told you we would meet again when the stars called your name." Ethan laughed softly, tears glowing in his golden eyes. "I didn't think you meant it so literally." Lyra reached out her hand. Her fingers brushed against his and light touching light. "You gave your life to save the world. Now creation gives you a second one." He looked around at the shining flowers. "Is this real?" She nodded. "As real as love ever is." The two stood together under the golden star that bore his name. Around them the air shimmered with peace. Ethan felt her warmth, not as something distant or alien, but as home. "Will we stay like this forever?" he asked quietly. Lyra smiled. "Forever is just a word. What matters is that we are." Above them, the gray beacon pulsed brighter, spreading a wave of golden light across the night sky. For a brief moment, every person on Earth looked up and felt peace, though they didn't know why. Lyra leaned closer, her voice soft like wind. "This is the gift of love, Ethan Gray. You gave life to the stars, and they gave me back to you." And as the light surrounded them, the world shimmered, not ending, but beginning again, far away in the heart of the universe. Two lights merged into one, shining together in endless harmony.